Let's move on to Bitcoin, shall we? That's a virtual currency. The value of each Bitcoin hit a new high this week. As of right now, it's around $450. That is the value of one Bitcoin. At the beginning of this year, the value was pegged at $13. Is it just going to keep on going up? Charles Payne, not here today, but he's commented in the past, he does not think it's going to keep going up. Look at this.
This kind of stuff is scary, you know. I mean, the volatility of it has been outrageous. You know, it goes from 100 to 260 to 100. It's an interesting brainchild, though. It really is for people who around the world who are upset with fiat currency.
I'm not going to put my real money into it. I'm not going to do it.
No, I got to tell you, so far,
and neither are you.
Not yet.
He's not going to put his money in. I'm not. But here's a guy who did. Jeff Berwick is with us. He's an early Bitcoin investor. And he thinks that Bitcoin's going to keep on going straight up. And did you tell me during the break, I know you did, repeat it for the viewers, you think it's going to go to $1 million?
Well, I don't think it's going to go to $1 million, but it has the definite potential to do that.
You're talking up your own book, because you own some Bitcoins, and you're just going to try to make them go up.
Well, I'm not doing anything except for saying what I think is the actual truth in the case.
What's your connection to Bitcoin?
My main connection is I'm incredibly excited about it. Bitcoin is a revolution in money and banking, the same way that the internet was a revolution in communication.
Well, in what way are you part of it, other than that you own a Bitcoin or two? What's your part of it?
Well, I write the Dollar Vigilante, and our big part of what we talk about is the dollar is going to collapse. And so I'm very excited that there's other alternative currencies coming out from the free market. And so I'm very involved. I've been involved. We were here last time talking about Bitcoin ATM. We're involved starting up a community in Chile now called Gults Chile, and we're accepting Bitcoin in return for land in Chile. We're very excited about the currency and the future.
Everybody knows, I think, that it's being investigated. I don't know by which authorities, but it is being investigated for money laundering and for prostitution and for drug dealing using Bitcoins, anonymous Bitcoins. You don't think you could be shut down?
It's impossible to be shut down. That's the beautiful thing about it. There is no Bitcoin place. You can't shoot Bitcoin, which is all the government does, is use guns to make people do things.
Well, that's a little pejorative, I would say. But anyway.
Well, it's just math, so you can't actually
You cannot shut it down?
No.
It has no center of gravity. It has no headquarters. You can't shut it down.
The only way you could is to shut off the internet.
You know, a lot of this most recent rally was driven out of China because of demand from there. At the same time, we saw an exchange there that was holding $4.1 million in Bitcoin disappear overnight. Those investors lost their money. There's no way to guard against that kind of thing. And I think that's what prevents more investors from getting involved in Bitcoin. Do you have any way to guard against that?
Well, you could say the same thing about Cyprus. Everyone lost 50% of their bank accounts just taken by the government. So, yeah, it's always a risk involved. And yes, of course, the free market will come up with many different ways. There'll be Bitcoin insurance companies coming out. There'll be Bitcoin banks, which will be insured, all those sort of things. So if the free market is going to take care of all of these issues, there's going to be bumps along the road. This currency has only been around since 2009. And so there's going to be issues. There's going to be problems. There's always going to be some sort of fraudulent people involved. But that's not a major issue. Bitcoin is an actual revolution in money, and people won't believe what's going to happen with this currency.
Why don't you just invest in gold?
Well, I also believe in gold, and I think people should look at both of them. Both of them have positives and negatives. Gold is physical, and with governments around the world, they're becoming more and more just taking their citizens' money. That is a physical thing.
Okay, but look, is there such a thing as a Bitcoin, or is it just an electronic blip? That's all it is?
Yes, it's just math.
That's all it is.
That's right.
It is, but there are places, you know, in Brooklyn right now, diners that accept it as currency. I mean, there are more and more places accepting it. It's just that you're very far from critical mass at this point.
So, hold on a second. That's interesting. In Brooklyn.
Yes.
So I could walk in with my brand new iPhone,
yes.
and I could dial up the diner, whatever it is, and say, here's my Bitcoin, give me the food.
In theory, I don't see
electronic
you doing that,
No,
but
I know.
I feel like someone could.
But
yes.
someone could do that.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, absolutely. And and I wouldn't call you an early adopter of technology, obviously, but yes, no, it's happening all over the place. There's Shopify.com, which has thousands of retailers just started accepting Bitcoin.
Where's this?
It's Shopify.com. So they have literally tens of thousands of online retailers. Some Subway restaurants have started to accept Bitcoin.
Okay, hold on a second. Yes. If I wanted to get on my little iPhone here, and I wanted,
love that thing.
No, I don't.
You're really into
and
it.
I wanted to shut up. And I wanted to buy 1 Bitcoin. How do I do it?
Oh, there's many ways.
Okay. It's $450 to buy 1 Bitcoin, right?
Today.
Yes. Who gets my $450?
Whoever has the Bitcoin.
So if you've got a Bitcoin, you could sell me the Bitcoin, and I would send you real dollars, real money, 450 of them, right?
You call them real. They're also
okay, but that's how it would work.
But isn't that interesting that the person who supposedly believes in Bitcoin is willing to accept dollars in exchange for it? I mean, what does that tell you if somebody who has a Bitcoin trades it for dollars?
I've never actually traded Bitcoins for dollars. I actually keep all my Bitcoins.
Good for you.
I consider it almost like a savings account, and it's done quite well.
All right. We hear you, Jeff. I'm just trying to get to grips with all this technology stuff. And, well, we'll have you back. And it's very interesting. Thanks very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Jeff, good stuff.